Extreme metal lovers, rise up. Damnation Festival is fast approaching, and this year for me is probably the best Damnation lineup that they've ever had. So I thought I would talk about the top 15 bands that I am most looking forward to at this year's festival. If you don't know much about Damnation, it is the biggest indoor metal festival in Europe. It happens in Manchester in November, and this year is the 20th anniversary of the festival, so they're actually doing 2 days instead of one. I'll be there for both days, Saturday and Sunday, so I wanted to make a little video of all the kind of bands that I'm most excited for. It was actually so tough to narrow it down because there's so many good bands on this year's lineup and so much variety of subgenres as well. Some bands I've seen before, some I haven't. So if you are going to Damnation this year, let me know who you're most excited for in the comments. So the Saturday of Damnation is for bands that haven't really played the festival before, with a few exceptions, and are making their Damnation debuts. And then Sunday is for kind of some of the more classic bands that have like helped shape the festival's history. I think both days are going to be absolutely incredible. And these are in no particular order really. I'm super excited to see all of them. But number 15 is going to be Overhead the Albatross. So Overhead the Albatross are a Dublin-based instrumental post-rock band, and their music is absolutely beautiful. They definitely have quite a lot of like prog rock influences, which obviously makes sense because they take their name from arguably, in my opinion, the best prog rock band of all time. But I would say they lean more towards the style of like the very epic and very cinematic music. And that is exactly the style of post-rock that I really enjoy. They have a lot of beautifully intricate guitar melodies, but they're paired with this like thumping drum beat throughout, and sometimes a saxophone and some orchestral arrangements make an appearance. So I'm just really intrigued to see how this is going to go down live. Next up is Stamping Ground, who are UK hardcore legends, and they've only recently reformed, and they're coming to Damnation to celebrate 25 years of their album Carved from Empty Words. I absolutely cannot wait for this. Stamping Ground are pretty much like the exact kind of hardcore that I really like, where there's loads of like thrash and heavy metal elements mixed in. They've been so influential to so many bands that I just love. So I think this is going to be an incredible set, and also a set where I will be going absolutely nowhere near the mosh pit for my own safety. I think I'll just stay away for this one. Back to some post-rock. Next up is the band Nordic Giants. They're an English post-rock duo, and from what I've heard, have an amazing live show. There's a bit of a buzz around them in like the metal community. I've never personally seen them, but I just hear people all the time saying how like incredible their live show is. And there was quite a lot of buzz around their last performance at Damnation, so I feel like they're going to be returning to just really impress, and I definitely won't be missing them. Their music is gorgeous. There's so many ebbs and flows. It's very emotionally captivating and engaging, even though the songs are really long. It's just beautiful, very exciting.
We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery.
Next up are Castle Rat, who are a fairly new discovery of mine. I discovered them because I was checking out all the bands that are playing at Damnation, and I saw their picture and I was like, who and what is that? They describe themselves as a medieval fantasy doom band, and their live performances are known for the kind of elaborate costumes. There's quite a lot of like lore to the band, and they all play a certain character, from what I'm understanding anyway. They're one of those bands that just seem like they'd be so much fun to see live. They just have so much character and personality, but the music is also actually really quite heavy. There's these really like doomy, heavy riffs and a guitar tone that actually blows your head off when you listen to it in headphones. Honestly guys, they're so good. Definitely check them out. One thing that Damnation likes to do is full album sets from bands if they're celebrating 10 years or 20 years of a specific album. Damnation does a lot of those kind of full album sets. They do have a few this year as well, and the one that I'm personally most excited for is the band Warning, the classic doom band that are going to be performing their album Watching from a Distance in full. I'll be getting the tissues ready for this one, because if you haven't heard this album, it is like so unbelievably sad and depressing. There's slow, heavy riffs. It feels like running through treacle. The lyrics are heart-wrenching. It talks a lot about like loss, kind of grief, loneliness. And I imagine that seeing it live will be just like a hypnotic experience. I'm really going to need to mentally prepare myself for this one, I think. I'm very glad that they're playing on the Sunday. I'm afraid of the way that I'm feeling. So next up then is Spectral Wound, who are a black metal band from Canada. Me and black metal have a tumultuous relationship, as you guys know. It has to be very kind of specific black metal that I will like. And out of all of the subgenres they have at Damnation, it's maybe my least favourite. But this is black metal that I can really get behind. I have absolutely no idea what to expect from their live performance, but I think that's kind of the good thing about festivals, is that you can like get a little taste for what bands have to offer, and you can kind of see bands that you would never usually see. But their music is pretty aggressive and chaotic, but what I really like about it is it has this kind of modern production. The riffs are really, really catchy and technical, and there's some actually gorgeous guitar solos as well. They're quite easy to listen to, I think, even if you're not an extreme metal fan. And I am coming with my fiance, who is not an extreme metal fan at all, and I think that he'll definitely get something out of Spectral Wound. Next up is Orbit Culture. I have seen them live before and really, really enjoyed it. I definitely want to catch them again. They have a cool kind of fusion of like melodic death metal, groove, and then there's like some thrash elements as well, and I love thrash. And I've been loving all the songs from their latest album, which comes out next week, I think. So hopefully we'll be hearing some of those songs at Damnation. They're also that kind of like groovy, danceable metal that works really well at festivals because it can kind of draw people in even if they're not super familiar with their music. Moving on, we have our Sunday night headliner, my hometown boys, Napalm Death, the inventors of grindcore. Like, if you like metal or you like extreme metal in some way, then you're pretty much gonna like Napalm Death. They're just one of those bands that seem to have like a massive amount of respect from almost everybody. Not to mention, this is gonna be their biggest UK headline show ever. The whole of their career, which is so cool. Like, I think this is just one that you kind of have to witness. And next up, we have a bit of a wild card. The band Ghost or Ghost, I'm not really sure how you actually say it, but I'm just going to say Ghost. They are an American synthwave project. They incorporate elements of metal and horror, and even though they're like primarily electronic, metal fans just seem to love them. I've seen them live before a few years ago and it was so much fun. And I think this type of act is kind of just what you need when you've had a lot of nails on a chalkboard metal all day. And don't get me wrong, I love nails on a chalkboard metal, but I think this is a nice bit of like relief from that. Just time to have like a bit of a dance and a rave. Another band I literally cannot wait for are Mantar, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about Mantar. If I could recommend any band from this video to you guys to check out, it would be Mantar. They're so good. They're a German sludge metal duo, and earlier this year they released their album Post-Apocalyptic Depression, and it's so good. I think sludge is probably my favourite metal subgenre, and there isn't a whole lot of like really good sludge around, but Mantar are just, they're so good. They have this really infectious like punk energy where it's not that kind of slow, sludgy music. It's more like upbeat, ferocious, chaotic. Honestly, just go listen to them. You absolutely won't regret it, and I'll be down the front for that one, so I'll see you there. Next is the absolutely incredible black/speed metal band Hellripper. I'm a huge Hellripper fan. The ferocity and energy and just like fun vibes is just exactly up my street. James is such a talented musician, and when he plays with a full band, it's just unmatched. I like that the vocals feel kind of chaotic and like a bit raw and unpolished, but the instrumentation is so tight. And they're one of those bands where you just know if you see them live, it's like a guaranteed good time. They're just like an old reliable. And speaking of old reliable, the next artist that I can't wait to see is Meryl Streep. Solo Irish punk artist who talks a lot about kind of social issues and political commentary in the form of like spoken word poetry almost. I've seen Meryl twice already this year at 2000 Trees, and it was just so good. The amount of emotions that you can go through watching Meryl Streep is crazy. 1 minute I'm sad, next angry, happy. Like it's such a roller coaster. And I'm definitely intrigued to see how well Meryl gets on at Damnation as well.
And our politicians are landlords, and our landlords are politicians, and our politicians are landlords.
Next up we have Deafheaven, another band that I've seen a couple of times before, but I will just always check them out. And I think if you listen to Deafheaven's latest album, there's pretty much no way that you wouldn't want to see them, because that album, like, it's just so good. I'm not sure what stage they're going to be at Damnation actually, but I would recommend the main stage if possible. I think it's just going to go off. Like, people are just loving their latest music. There's a real hype about them and about their latest music as well. So when they play those songs, it's going to be mad. Next up is Crippling Alcoholism, a fairly new discovery for me actually. Another one I discovered while researching bands at Damnation. They blend like goth rock, noise rock, and kind of post-punk, I guess, to create like a really kind of it's kind of like a very dark, it's kind of a horrible sound in a way. Very gloomy. The lyrics are very hopeless, very sad, very weird, and you kind of do have to be in the mood to listen to them. But their latest album is great. Their previous album is really great. And again, one that I don't have a massive idea what to really expect, but I just want to be down the front for this one. I think it's going to be like amazing. And finally, well done for making it to the end of this video, another band that I absolutely cannot wait to see, and I'm probably the most excited for these. I'll save them to last. Another band from my hometown who I will always come out and support. For me, they're probably one of the heaviest bands on the lineup. Like, their sound and music is actually disgusting, but like in the best way. It's so great, and I feel like the vibes will be on point as well, because they're such like a classic Damnation band. Everybody that goes to Damnation loves them. They've played at the festival quite a few times before, so they're kind of really coming back to like celebrate that. I just can't wait. So that is it. The countdown is now on to Damnation. So I think you can still get weekend tickets. I will leave the link in the description. Hopefully see some of you guys there. And thank you for watching.